Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be a quick entry into JT over at JT's Record Room, his 100 subscribers contest. He came into the VC not too long ago, I think kind of during the pandemic and all. And, I found his channel and it subbed his channel. So it's kind of cool that he's hit 100 subs already. I just wanted to jump on board and kind of support his channel and do a response to his contest. And if you haven't met JT, again, the VC is just kind of so big and so vast now that it's impossible to cross paths with everyone. Make sure you go over and check out his channel. Links right down there below. Say hi, sub to him. No reason he shouldn't be at 300-400 subs in no time whatsoever. So cool guy, definitely go check him out. But he had kind of some nice simple questions, which are always good these days. You have to stress yourself out trying to come up with answers, and just gonna kind of jump on board and answer them real quick. And more or less what he did was he chose 6 genres and just kind of said, show me one of your favorite albums, or an album that you really love from that genre. All right, so let's kind of just bounce right into it. Number 1, folk. So obviously a lot of great things to choose from out there, but I'm gonna go with Joan Baez. And this is her album, Any Day Now, from 1968, I believe. But basically what she did here was just a bunch of Bob Dylan covers. That's really what it boils down to. But, I love Joan. I have a number of her albums, and just, she's one of those artists that I really kind of throw on when it's about feel for me. Like when I really want to just dive into her aura and just almost take you back to that time period. She's one of those voices, and most of her albums do that. But this is probably my favorite album by her, just because with the songs that she's covering, it's almost like she took it up one little notch from the typical, very laid-back flower power folky thing that she was kind of known for, what she did so well. And again, you're not going to listen to it and go, oh, Joan went metal or nothing like that. But it is just kind of, with most of the songs, it just feels like, it's kind of picked up one step from where she normally kind of floats around. And of course, they're Dylan songs, so that plays a plus. And it's just overall, just a great album. So definitely one of my favorite folk albums right there. The next one was a British Blues. And again, with John M. and just, all these different type of bands you can choose from. I decided to choose kind of a British blues artist, but maybe not an album that falls back into that maybe late 60s, early 70s, when I guess British blues was maybe a little bit bigger, if you will. And so I decided to go with Eric Clapton's Pilgrim. So this actually is from 1998. 1998? Yeah, 1998. So one of Clapton's pieces that's maybe not as well known. I don't know, maybe people do love this album. I just don't hear people talk about it a lot, as much as obviously Clapton's early stuff and Cream and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, really great album that he put out back in 98 that I feel got a little overlooked. But, 2 LP set. If you haven't heard this album, songs that I recommend going right to: My Father's Eyes, River of Tears. Pilgrim's kind of a cool track, but One Chance. Probably my favorite 3 songs off of this particular album. But the thing I think is neat about this is, again, this is from the late 90s. So it's definitely an album that's working in the pop rock thing of that day. But when you really know Eric's background and kind of know his British blues background and all of that, you can so hear that stuff all up and down, in here. Like, Father's Eyes, which kind of sounds like a poppy type of song, but when you listen to kind of how he's not necessarily playing the guitar solo, but just kind of how his guitar is playing underneath the rhythm, it's complete and total blues. Or if you listen to the song like River of Tears, it could come off kind of ballady at first, but then when you actually start listening to the lyrics and you go back and hear it a couple times, you realize it's a total blues song, and so those elements of his British blues DNA is really kind of all up and down this album, even for something that kind of came out on more of the pop side back in the late 90s. But really, really good album that definitely got overlooked in his catalog, in my opinion. Question number 3, an indie band. Definitely a lot of those to choose from. And JT, I do love that you mentioned Bella Sebastian when you were kind of talking about some examples of that, because that's almost one that I came very close to picking. Strange band though, because whatever levels, they really kind of tick me off with the stuff that they do, and I love the stuff that they do. It's a very weird emotional thing that goes on with dealing with Bella Sebastian. But The Boy with the Arab Strap's one of my favorite albums, and that's the one that I almost picked. But I decided to go with this instead. Sorry, trying to get some of the glare out of there, which is Band of Horses. Really, really great album. I mean, this is from 2007, and just a band that's very, very musical, very strong, wonderful melodies. Excuse me, not afraid to mix like the alternative country into the sometimes some areas almost dream poppy type of feel. Like they just make good music, period. I don't mean good music as in like that's a band you need to like. There's just some artists that I feel they don't always lock themselves in a box, and they just go out and say, I just want the best music to flow in and just to be out there kind of thing. And a Band of Horses is just kind of one of those for me. And this is such a good album. Oh my gosh. Songs like Is There a Ghost? No One's Gonna Love You. Deathless Shrimp is probably my favorite song off of this album. Oh man, I can't even. Must listen to, period. If you are not familiar with this album, a must. Absolute must. Alright, next category, number 4, is any pop or rock LP. And I decided to show this one because this is an artist I just kind of been jamming out to for maybe the past 2 months or so. And I don't know why. I was going to work one day to the record shop, and it just kind of came on the shuffle, one particular song, and it was just one of those kind of reminders of, how did you forget how amazing this freaking artist is? So on the rock and pop side, Eddie Money, baby. Had to go with Eddie Money. Like I said, the last 2 months I've just been jamming out to him. And this is The Sound of Money, which is the greatest hits. But if you don't have any other Eddie, this is definitely, a solid first one to get in your collection. But yeah, just again, a greatest hits here with just all of his great stuff from, the early years within the 70s, like 2 Tickets to Paradise and Baby Hold On, and moving into his 80s stuff, I Want to Go Back, Walk on Water. I mean, just Eddie was a real rocker, and it's the one thing I'm not gonna say I hate. It's just kind of what happens sometimes when artists do something that makes them gigantic. Eddie was always very well known, and then in the 80s he just kind of skyrocketed with a few hits that were awesome hits. But then it skyrocket and gets so big and gets so much video rotation, they kind of get labeled as being something from that genre. So it's like pop rock 80s, that's Eddie Money, because Walk on Water and I Want to Go Back and just amazing hits like that. But it's also kind of those things where you have to go back and you get in your car and turn the volume all the way up and let shaking come through your speakers, and you realize Eddie is freaking rocking this thing, man. Oh my gosh. And that was a song that just, I don't know why, it just caught me all. Again, I've heard it a gazillion times, but I was driving that day and the volume was just at the right place and shaking came on, and I was like, freaking kill it, Eddie. Holy cow. So anyway, I'll stop rambling on about Eddie. That's gonna be my pop rock pick. Question number 5. Number 5. Old school metal. Jeez, the number to pick from there. And again, I'm gonna go with one that I've been really enjoying the past week or two. Actually, just spun it this morning. Again, Scorpions Blackout. That's what I'm gonna go as far as old school metal. And I mean, a classic cover, of course, everyone kind of recognizes that. But again, this is really kind of Scorpions doing everything that Scorpions did over the course of their career. From their ballad stuff to their more 80s mainstream type of stuff to some just kind of right in your face old school metal. And you get all of that throughout the course of this album. whether you have the more popular, you know, 80s stuff like No One Like You, or even going into like, okay, this is just kind of just right in your face, just here's China White, you know, this is just metal, period. So fantastic album right there, and just, I think, an awesome representation of that old school metal. So that's Scorpions Blackout. And last one was Any Jazz Album, which of course was another big one. So again, I just went with what I've been enjoying the most right now. And you guys have heard me talk about this lady, I don't know how many times. Muriel Grossman. This is her album Golden Rule. She has, I think, 3 or 4 albums out on vinyl right now. And I think there's this one, there's Reverence, there's one called, I think, Revelations, I believe. But she doesn't have a ton of stuff out, and it's kind of hard to get because she is kind of a, you know, artist on a kind of smaller label and that type of thing. But if you can grab any of her stuff, CD, vinyl, or otherwise, she is freaking amazing. And this is her album Golden Rule. And the easiest way I've always found to describe her, and if any of you have seen my videos in the past where I've talked about her a number of times, this is just John Coltrane reincarnated. And again, I'll say it again, John Cliff, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to believe that John Coltrane came back as a European white woman, but just kept playing his sax the exact same way. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that she can, you know, get in, you know, there with Coltrane. I mean, Coltrane is Coltrane. But when it comes to the way she plays, when it comes to the way she puts together her melodies, the way that she, just the way that she feels and delivers jazz, it's total Coltrane. And it'd be very easy to throw her albums on and tell someone, this is a Coltrane album you never heard of before. They would totally believe it without question. So she is absolutely amazing. So make sure you check her out if you're not familiar with Muriel Grossman. And this is probably my favorite album by her, but this one and Reverence are both fantastic albums. That's the Golden Rule. So there you go, JT, man. Hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, just want to jump on board, show some support for your channel. Hope the contest goes well. Let me know what you think of my picks, and I will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.